So, for Horney's views on religion, I couldn't find much about it. All I found was that her father was super Christian, super religious, and that he kind of forced it down her throat. And he like made them read the Bible, and then he forced her to read the Bible when like that was the only thing she could read when she learned how to read. So I'm guessing she didn't like it because she had such a negative upbringing associated with it. I also found something that said when her father read something wrong in the Bible, he would hit himself on the head with it. So that's kind of psycho. And I'm guessing she sided probably more with her mom, who was the free spirit and didn't really like religion. I also found that she kind of commented on how the Bible stated woman as secondary creation to women or to men, and the Bible probably didn't correlate with her more feministic standpoints on stuff. Horney's view on how we develop personality. She believed that personality was mostly formed from social forces in early childhood, instead of like biological, which is what we're born with. And it's mainly due to whether or not our safety needs are met in infancy, and that determines the development of our personality. And then also our personality is dependent on how we protect ourselves against basic anxiety. And we do that through securing affection, being submissive, attaining power, or withdrawing. Neurotic needs. She also talks about neurotic needs, and those are used as irrational solutions to try to solve our problems. So there's 10 neurotic needs. And they are affection and approval, a dominant partner, power, exploitation, prestige, admiration, achievement or ambition, self-sufficiency, perfection, or narrow limits to life. So these are all things we do to try to solve our problems, get away from our problems. And these are considered to be neurotic traits. And it's something neurotic people do, and this is the only way they feel like they can relieve their basic anxiety. But unfortunately, these traits are only short term because you're not really dealing with your anxiety and they don't actually solve the problem. So they kind of come back to haunt you. She later on revised the neurotic needs to be neurotic trends. And the trends are movement toward other people, so the compliant personality, movement against other people, the aggressive personality, and movement away from other people, which is the detached personality. So she thinks that most people display all these trends at one point, but one of them is always dominant. And more neurotic people get conflict when these trends are incompatible and we are unflexible. So we're trying to have one personality be the top, but others are coming through, and that might cause conflict for us. She also talked about the idealized self-image, which is how we view ourselves, but it may or may not actually be reality. And when it's not reality, failure occurs because it's too far from the truth and we can't live up to our unrealistic expectations. And this always comes from the tyranny of the shoulds, which are things neurotic people tell themselves to try to live up to the unrealistic, idealized self-image. So it would be like, I should get an A, I should go for that job, I should date this guy. So they're all things we think we should do to be the best person we can be. And I definitely see this happening to people our age and me in my daily life. There's things I should do so I can be the best me, when it's really exhausting and it's an unforgiving cycle, which is what she says, and it just leads to self-hatred. And neurotics might also use externalization to combat basic anxiety, but that's also only temporary relief. So all these are just temporary relief and don't actually deal with the root problem. Horney viewed infancy and childhood as very important for the development of personality, since she thinks it's from social aspects instead of biological. An infant's time is when they're learning a ton and they're a sponge, they're just soaking up everything. So she thinks an infant's personality can develop normally if their safety needs are met, and that comes from the parent or the caregiver, and this includes feeling a sense of security and an absence of fear during infancy. So this all depends on how the parent or the caregiver treats the child, especially in the early infancy years and early childhood. Can our personality change? Horn and I believe that it's healthy for our personalities to change over time because she believes, once again, that it's social. So our social situations are always changing, therefore our personality will change too. And instead of an idealized self-image, we should have a realistic self-image. So this means we're adaptive of our view of self-image, and our personality can change and develop for the better. And this sounds like something everyone should have, but really it's a goal that we're striving for because it's really hard to actually have a realistic self-image and to be able to be flexible and go with the flow of our personality changing. And